Where I am right now is in Nevada, Beatty, Nevada. I am on the Ariel Rider X52 e-bike, and I'm gonna do a little trail ride. There's some awesome mountain biking trails through here, and this is a place called Spicer Ranch that's out in Nevada. It's a really cool place. It's a working ranch, but they allow people to come and camp. And I went down this trail last night and it was really cool. So I'm gonna take you guys along. I got my little first person view setup going with the action cam, and we're gonna get on the trail right now. Give you an idea of what it's like to trail ride on this e-bike. The settings that I'm gonna use for this ride is I'm gonna turn off the pedal assist altogether, put it on 0, and I'm only going to use the throttle. I'm not going to be pedaling all that much, and just using throttle. I'm going to be taking it very slow. This is just going to be a leisurely, very casual, slow ride, and I'll take you guys around a little bit and show you what this place looks like. So this is how the whole place is organized. There are these markers everywhere you go that shows you the name of the trail, what the difficulty is, the length of it. Everything is what you need to know, and all throughout the trails you can clearly see where to go. It's really hard to get lost. I'm going to be taking this Canteen Trail, be going down to the Stirrup Loop. Stirrup Loop is an easy difficulty, so you know, like I said, this is going to be just a casual, very laid back ride, and I just don't want to overdo it and wipe out or anything like that. All right, so here we go. We're going off on the trail. This is the way to get to the trailhead. As you can see, there's markers all the way along. Tells you which way to go. All right, so here you can see Canteen is to the right. Up here is Stirrup Loop straight ahead, and it gives you the information here. Stirrup Loop is 2.2 miles. It's the easiest difficulty of any of these trails. So we're just going to go for a nice ride on Stirrup Loop, and I'll show you a little bit about what this bike can do. This X-Class 52 volt is a pretty amazing bike. I've been riding it for almost 50 miles now, and you know, that's a pretty short time, but in that 50 miles I have had no issues whatsoever. It has been awesome. Like, as you can see right there is a nice incline. Has plenty of power to drag me up the hill, no problem. The wind is really high right now, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me clearly. I may want to do the recording on the way back as well, because on the way back the wind will be at my back, not my face. So I'm riding into the wind right now, and so this bike comes with a nice size 20-inch by 4-inch fat tire, and the fat tire has really been great in loose sand, on kind of sketchy terrain. It holds on really well. When I get into loose sand, I don't lose control. It kind of floats right above it, so it feels really good. And with this bike, you can really just ride it like a motorcycle. You don't have to pedal at all. It's very, very powerful. One thing I would say about this bike is that it doesn't have a lot of ground clearance for the pedals. The pedals, when you are pedaling, they actually hang down pretty low. So some terrain where there's obstacles like rocks and things, you tend to hit a lot of stuff. So I keep my feet in a riding position that's level to the ground, one in front and one in the back, rather than one up and one down, because it will come into contact with stuff. That being said, this bike does really well on pavement. You ride this bike out on pavement, there are no obstacles at all, and it's a really awesome city commuter. This thing, if you had a job that you had to get to that's, say, I don't know, 25, 30 miles away, and you could charge it at your job, this bike would be perfect for that. You could easily do 25 miles on a single charge it while you're at work, and then make your ride home for really free. Save money on all that gas, and get some exercise in the process. On this ride, I'm keeping it at about 10 to 12 miles per hour. Some places I might get up to 14 to 16 miles per hour, but I'm just taking it very slow and easy. Really just doing some sightseeing and showing, how this bike handles on a trail like this. We're out in some beautiful country right now. This is in Beatty, Nevada. There are trails all through these hills back here and through the washes, and it's really a beautiful ride. I went on about a 10-mile bike ride yesterday, and I'm still on the same charge that I used yesterday. I had a full battery, and the battery's still reading full. So after 10 miles, I really haven't used much power at all. Let's talk about the brakes on this a little bit. This bike comes with Tektro hydraulic brakes. Now, they are very, very strong brakes. These brakes can lock up the tires with no issue at all. They're on the front and back disc brakes, and one thing about that is that since they're so strong, you have to be very gentle with the brakes. Okay, getting into a little loose sand here, no problem. Going up the hill, also no problem. And I'm not a small guy. I'm a 250-pound guy. So this thing handles my weight with no problems. So when you're riding this bike, you want to be very gentle with how you use the brakes. You can literally lock up the brakes on the front and the back if you want to. So if you're not careful with them, you could get into some trouble. This bike is really nice. It uses all name brand components. So you have Tektro front and back disc hydraulic brakes on this bike. On the shifter, you have a Shimano shifter, which is a industry standard. Shimano is pretty much what anybody uses. Let's see. Let's give it a stop here. It's a 7-speed. I have to stop every once in a while because my hands go a little bit numb. That's just a back problem that I have. But so I may stop every once in a while and kind of get the feeling back in my fingers. One thing I have considered is this has a pretty low handlebar ride position. So it's similar to like maybe a sport bike, not quite that low, but you are leaned forward a little bit when riding this bike. One thing I may do in the future is get a handlebar that comes up a little bit higher so I can have a more upright riding position. And that may help with my hands a little bit, but we'll continue on here. So this does have a Shimano 7-speed shifter. I find that I typically leave it in the 7th speed, the highest speed, all the time. Because with the motor, you're just going so fast that those other gears, you don't really use them. Unless you're climbing a hill or something like that, a really extreme incline, you're not going to need those those smaller speeds. But it is nice to have to be able to kick it down and use pedal assist, and you can get up some serious inclines with this bike. Also, you can see on this trail there's a ton of big rocks, and the bike just goes over them with ease. There's no issue with these rocks. Every once in a while you might skip to the side a little bit if you hit the side of a rock, but as long as you're paying attention, this fat tire bike is going to be able to handle these rocks with no problem. We can go a little faster up here, see how. So this ride's not a good demonstration of the power of this bike, the speed of this bike, but let me tell you, it is extremely fast. It can get up to 20 to 32 miles per hour, maybe 33 miles per hour, and I'm not going to use that speed on this ride at all because, you know, this is a trail ride. If I was on pavement, this bike really cooks. It is fast, super fast. It's a little faster than I feel comfortable with, honestly. I don't need to go this fast on a bike. If I am doing a ride where I'm doing top speed on this, I would have full riding gear on. I would want a helmet, leather jacket, leather pants, you know, like full on motorcycle riding gear while riding this bike. Because if you go down at 32 or 33 miles per hour, it's going to hurt. You're going to get some serious road rash. You're going to want to be protected. So make sure if you're riding a bike this fast to protect yourself and put on some really good protective gear. That being said, I'm not wearing anything right now, but I'm only going, 10 to 14 miles per hour, and I'm keeping it very, very calm and laid back. Now these bike trails, they go for miles. I'm not going to be riding the whole thing. I'm going to be turning around here pretty soon and heading back. That way the wind will be at my back and it's not going to be as windy, so maybe you'll be able to hear me a little bit better. I'm going to be checking the footage here in just a little bit before I turn around, kind of see how it sounds on the microphone, see if this will be usable at all. Hopefully it will. At this point, we've been driving for days. We are in the bread truck, and Ellie is in her Transit Connect. But the bread truck, I have hooked up to the back of it. I'm towing a 1972 Standard Beetle. It's my new project that I'm going to be working on the channel. I'm going to be assembling it pretty soon. I really need to find a motor for it. But so right now it's not operable, and I'm just towing it behind the bread truck. But we have driven for days now, putting down about 300 miles per day. We left out of Northern California, and we are in Beatty, Nevada right now, pretty close to Vegas. And we still have a ways to go. We're going to be going up toward the Grand Canyon area pretty soon, up toward in Williams, which is where I'm going to be doing some work on the project. I'll be starting to put the parts that I got for it together, starting to make a list of everything that I do need for it, and just really starting to do everything I can to get that thing running and driving. That's going to be my new adventure rig. All right, so the trail splits off right here. I think this might be a good place to turn around. So we were riding slightly uphill the whole way here, and now we're riding slightly downhill. So it'll be a little bit faster, use much less throttle, and a little bit more brakes on the way back. This bike also comes with a nice big headlight on the front, so when you're riding in the dark, you have a headlight on the front, a brake light on the back, a red one, so you're pretty safe in traffic and stuff like that. It does not have turn signals, but it does have a brake light, so when you hit the brakes, it actually illuminates brighter, but glows red anytime that you have the lights on. It's a nice big, the headlight on the front, I get a lot of compliments on. Everybody says they love the headlight. It's like a big motorcycle style round headlight on the front. Looks like something that you'd see on a cafe racer or something like that. Some kind of like little bobber chopper, you know. This bike also has front and back suspension. The front suspension has a motorcycle style suspension. It's pretty awesome. It's got full triple trees that are inverted forks. So it's very similar to what you see on a dirt bike, a motocross style suspension. See, I think I came in the other way. I'm going to take the right and take stirrup loop. Maybe to get a little different scenery on the way back. But so yeah, the front suspension does a nice job. It is pretty firm, even when I have it put on the softest settings. The front and the back are adjustable. They have both settings for softness and rebound. So I have them both set to the softest settings, and being set that way, they are still pretty firm. It would be nice to soften them up a little bit more, so I may do some modifications in the future to soften these the suspension up just a little bit more, so it can take a little bit more of the bumps. And oh, see, now we're going down pretty hill. Downhill is picking up a lot of speed. One thing I noticed on this bike, when you're going downhill, it wants to go. It is just so fast. It just wants to pick up more and more speed when you're going downhill. So you need to watch it. When you're going downhill, you need to be ready on the brakes so that you can slow yourself before it gets out of control, because you don't want to be locking up these brakes if you get into like a severe downhill situation. The back has a single shock. It is a coilover spring and shock setup. I have them on the softest settings, but I think the spring maybe just needs to be changed out because it's a very heavy spring. And when I hit bumps, when I bounce on this bike, there's very little movement. So the suspension does do something, but it's a little bit hard for my liking. Another thing with this bike is that it has a stationary seat. It's not adjustable. The ride height of the seat is what it is. There's no height adjustment in the seat. So if this bike is just, it's going to need to fit you. If you're into this bike, you're going to need to fit this bike pretty well, because there's not any adjustment in the height of the seat. The seat is like a long saddle, kind of like you'd see on a dirt bike, a motocross bike, something like that. And it could be a little bit softer as well. I find it to be pretty comfortable. I'm a big guy, and it's a little bit short for me, so they do make a long saddle option that's double long. It's made to carry a passenger, but I want to get the long saddle just so I can scoot back in the seat a little bit and change my ride position just a little bit. We're going downhill pretty good, getting into some soft sand. Oh, taking out a bush. So on this ride, I haven't pedaled at all, really. I have the pedal assist turned off, and I'm using this bike just like I would a motorcycle. That's honestly my favorite way to use this bike, is to use it like a motorcycle. Not really pedaling all that much, but just using the throttle to move me. It does have two different power features, like ways that you can use the power. It has the throttle, which is a twist throttle. It's on the right hand. You just twist it and it takes off. Or you can use pedal assist. Over here on my left hand, it is set at 0 right now, so there's no pedal assist turned on. It has settings. It comes from the factory, 1 through 5, but you can also unlock 1 through 9. pedal assist settings. So if you want a lot of power putting through the pedals as you pedal it, you can set it all the way up to 9, and it's just like using full throttle on the bike. My preference is to use the throttle that's on the right hand over the pedal assist. It's much smoother. The throttle response, it's very sensitive, so I can give it just a little bit, and it gives me just a little bit of power. If I want a lot of power, I can put it all the way down and really take off. But on the pedal assist, it's just not quite as smooth. I can feel a surge in power when I'm on the when I have the pedal assist on, and sometimes it just feels a little bit unnatural. You'll maybe change your foot position a little bit, and it thinks that you're pedaling, and it'll give you a surge of power. And sometimes that could just happen at a bad moment. So I usually do ride with pedal assist on, but on a trail ride like this, where there's a lot of loose gravel and rocks and loose sand, I find it just be easier to turn it off and only use the twist throttle. It works really well that way for me. All right, coming down a little turn. There's a sign that says trailhead, so we're heading back to the trailhead right now. Let's talk about the power of this bike. This bike has a 52 volt battery. I believe it's close to 19 amp hours. I may not be totally correct on that, but it's pretty close to 19 amp hours. And lithium battery. And the power that it has in the rear hub, it's got a hub motor, which is 1,000 volts. No, I'm sorry. It's got a hub motor, and it is 1,000 watts. There's a 1,000 watt hub motor in the back. And let me tell you, it is extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. I can go up hills with no pedal assist at all, and it just powers up everything. I mean, this thing has more than enough power for me, and I am super happy with it. The motor is also something a little bit special. Most of these e-bikes, they come with nylon gears in their hub motors, but not this one. This one is a metal gear motor inside the hub. So you get a lot more transfer of power from the batteries through the gears into the tire, putting down into wherever you're going, your path. And you're going to get a lot more longevity out of metal gears as well. Those nylon gears, they do tend to wear out. They can start to slip a little bit, and they can get eaten up pretty easily. With these metal gears, you're not going to have that. You're going to have a lot longer longevity out of this e-bike with a metal gear hub motor. That is something that's kind of specific to the Ariel Rider. I haven't seen it in many other e-bikes. Now, that being said, this is my first e-bike experience. So I don't have much knowledge about e-bikes, but most of them do have nylon gears. And most of them do not have a motor like this one. It is very powerful. All right, we're almost back to the trailhead. This is about the end of the ride, and we'll go over this little jump. Whee! We're about to the trailhead. So one thing I'm going to do at the very end here, I will take it up to top speed. There's some flat ground over here that's nice and level. Oh, I almost lost the trail. There we go. Nice and level. So I'll show you a top speed run and, show you really how fast this thing can go. It's pretty impressive. All right, there's the cattle guard. This is where we came from, and we are back. I'm going to pull over here for a second and get some feeling back in my hands. But that's it. Let me get off the bike and show you what it looks like. There is the Ariel Rider X52. It is awesome. I really love this bike. I mean, everything about it is really pretty killer. I don't know. I just don't have any complaints about it. One thing you see, it also comes with these nice rear pegs. Sometimes I put those down on a ride and I can just put my feet back there just to kind of change things up, take a little pressure off my bum, and you know, just be able to put my feet in a different position. As you can see back here, there is space for the seat to go all the way to the back, and they do make a long saddle, so I'm looking to get that long saddle. That way I can ride sitting back here a little bit further and maybe do some bigger handlebars on the front. It does have the front and the rear fenders to keep dirt and mud off of you when you're riding through wetter conditions. They work really well. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Up here on the front, you can see it has some really classy leather stitched handle grips. They're very nice, they're pretty comfortable. It's got a bell. Here you see the adjustments on the triple tree forks, and also on the back here there's adjustment as well on the shock. But let's do a little bit of a high-speed run, and I'll show you how fast this thing goes. We'll go down here. I'm gonna wait till we get to a straightaway to really give it full power, where it's nice and flat and I don't have to worry about any kind of turns or anything, because I'm not wearing any protective gear right now. So I'm just gonna do one quick high-speed run, and I want to be as safe as I can while I'm doing that. So we're already up to 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, 28 miles per hour. This thing is fast. It is insanely fast. This is by far the fastest e-bike I have ever ridden. And when I come around this turn here, there's a nice flat open area. So I'll really give it full speed. Here we go. This is the road coming in. Let's go. There we go. 31, 32, 33, 33 miles per hour. I'm gonna start slowing it down. This thing is crazy fast. They have some cool stuff here, like old rusty tractors. I love it. I want some stuff like that sitting on my property one day when I get one. They have some cool sculptures out here. Cool rusty old car. Obviously there's a big bike culture here because there's bikes everywhere. I don't know what this is. It's some kind of big brain larva looking thing. It's crazy. But you have access to all this stuff when you come out here to Spicer Ranch. Ooh, you can go inside. Let's see. Ooh, crazy. I didn't know all this was in here. These are airbags, so at one time this thing moves. I don't know what it actually does. It looks like it walks though. Wow, crazy. Pretty crazy. Yeah, there's like air controls here. So at one time this thing did actually move and work. Wow, that's insane. All right. Here's the information for Spicer Ranch if you want to come check it out. It's a really cool place. We're only staying one night, but Spicer Ranch, and you can check them out on Trails OV, I guess. So let's go. Do one more high-speed run down this road. This thing cooks, man. It's so fast. It's insanely fast. Just like that, we're about up to top speed. That's as fast as I'm gonna go. Well guys, I want to thank you for coming along on this ride with me and taking a look at the Ariel Rider X52 X-Class e-bike. It is awesome. This is my first e-bike, and I don't know, I think I may have started with the best. This thing is pretty badass. I'm a fan. Everybody, it's a real head turner. Everybody really likes the look of it. I'm definitely going to be the talk of the town riding around on this X-Class. Stay tuned to the channel to see some new comparison videos. I'm going to be comparing this against other e-bikes, and you know, we'll be having this along for our travels. Up ahead you can see there's the bread truck with the Beetle behind it in Ellie's car, and there's Ellie right there. I finished my ride, no accidents. It's this X-Class 52 volt e-bike. Makes me really cool.
It definitely helps. It is pretty cool.
Yep. So, that bell? So, stay tuned. This Beetle's gonna be getting put together. Gonna be on the road pretty soon. Lots of cool things happening. And I'm gonna get up out of here. Bye guys. Eat.